Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. This episode we're going into the 6th generation console games that made our list of the top 20. I'm Michael and John's on the other side.
Howdy, hi.
Hey, it only took one time! The last episode took so many tries because I wasn't conscious, apparently. Alright, so I am starting off this episode since he started the last one. So this covers the PS2, the Xbox, Dreamcast, and Gamecube. And if we find like random handhelds during this time, do we have the PlayStation Portable yet?
Yes.
We
yes,
do? Okay.
PSP does come out around this time.
Okay. I was just curious because there's no other competitors, if I remember correctly, except for that fucking taco one. Whatever that fucking thing was called. What was that one where you put the game in, you talked into us, and the Nokia Engage?
There was the Engage.
Yeah.
Which was a phone, but also a game console.
The only thing they ever had on there apparently that was any good was their version of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater. All right.
I knew someone who had it, but I never saw them ever play it.
All right, starting off, it's a Metal Slug, basically a skin on top of a Metal Slug. I know this, but you all know how obsessed I am with that franchise. So, Alien Hominid!
Oh god, that is such a great one.
Oh, it's so cartoonishly violent and great graphics, and it is harder than Metal Slug, which, honestly, if you're a Metal Slug player, you're shocked that even is possible. So this is a kind of obscure one that no one really expected, but Battlestar Galactica, I fucking loved it. It was based on the original show, but it was launched because of the mini-series and the new series that was going on. So it's kind of like a weird bridge story-wise. No, they're not connected, so I don't know what it was, but it was trying to take the story beyond the original series.
It's like, I knew that existed, but I never played it.
Okay. Really great flying. It's not a side-scroller, and it's not a top-down. It's like you're behind it. What do you call that? Third person?
Yeah.
Okay. The only baseball game, I think, the only sports game that's ever made my list. Oh, no. I forgot NBA Jam made it. But the Bigs. Really, really fucking great baseball game. Arcade style, but also has some of the more strategy. What do you call it? Like the season emulator. What do you call that? Damn it. Simulator. I don't know why I said emulator.
The simulator aspects.
Big Mother Truckers. God damn it, what a stupid game to like. But it's just a lot of fun. Hillbilly Rednecks in car race, like truck racing. Look, I don't have the best taste.
That's okay. I almost had there was a game that was on my list, and then I went, really? I'm going to have that on my top 20 of the franchise list, and I took it off. But yeah, when we get to that, I do have something to say for that.
The only system I had here, by the way, is the PS2 because I didn't know it at the time, but my boss out of nowhere just gave me his PS2, and I was like, why? He goes, I don't play it very much, and then find out like a week later he let me go, and I was like, oh. Was that just to buy me off as a thank you and fuck off?
Probably.
I never got to play the Dreamcast, and I only played a few games on the GameCube and Xbox. The only reason I got to play any of the Xbox games was I had a backwards compatible 360, so that's how I got to play some of these. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. I believe it's a storyline that takes place between 6 and 7, or it's 5 and 6. It's after she dies. And it was kind of a lost storyline that Joss Whedon threw away, but they decided to incorporate into a game. And it's a lot of fun, and they get almost everybody from the cast to come back and do the voice work.
Okay.
Let's see, Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts. Jesus, Call of Duty, the franchise is so big that there's so many offshoots. This is the one where Kiefer Sutherland was voicing the main character, and I just feel like the stages and the playability were much better than any other game in the franchise that I played.
There was definitely quite a few of those World War II things, because you also had Medal of Honor.
Yeah, well, I think that whole thing burned itself out. I remember when they were red hot sellers, and everybody said like, "Oh, now we got to get out of World War II. Now we got to go do other things."
Yeah, and then they all became contemporary shooters.
Yeah. I have Def Jam Vendetta, a fighting game. Just more attitude, better soundtrack. I think that taking it out of the fighting arena and like putting it on basketball courts and in the streets or whatever gave it a really unique spin.
those were definitely fun. I think that's the one that also has Henry Rollins in it, if I remember right.
Maybe.
Or that might be Fight for New York. That might be
Okay.
Fight for New York.
Destroy All Humans, a perfect game to team with Alien Hominid. Demented out of its fucking mind. It's a love letter to old 50s sci-fi films, and it's just a really fun game.
I definitely own that one.
This Evil Dead did make the list because Fistful of Boomstick had better control and camera work. The first one was great, but sometimes you get stuck on these screens where you can only see like the bottom half of you. You couldn't even see your head, and then there's like stuff kicking your ass, and you can't change the angle, and you would get stuck. It drove me insane. But Fistful of Boomstick fixed all that.
Yeah, there's also there was another one. I think it was it Resurrection or something, where he had Ted Raimi as a dwarf deadite that you just can kick around.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, okay. So there are a lot of James Bond games on this because now not only are we bathing in the glow of GoldenEye or whatever, now it's like, oh well, now we're gonna spend real fucking money on this. And the best of the franchise, maybe not playability, but the fact that they went to this amount of trouble is getting Sean Connery to voice From Russia with Love, and it's got that 60s vibe. Which kind of separates it from the other ones, which almost made my list, the Rogue Agent and Nightfire, which are all great games.
Yeah, I do remember when that hit, and that was definitely a fun one to play.
Remember there was like a weird movement there where they had like the Godfather game and Scarface and the Warriors, where they were spending serious money to get original cast members back.
Yeah, although Warriors was a lot better than it should have. Godfather and Scarface,
Yeah, I never played them. I only played a demo for Warriors. That was it.
Yeah, Warriors was good.
Speaking of bringing the whole cast back, and this is when studios are really spending money on making quality versions of these shows and movies instead of what they did with Nintendo just phoning it in. Futurama. Holy shit. What a great game. A puzzle platformer kind of game. Third person where you're solving puzzles, and also it's legitimately episodes of the show. And I think if there was an option after you finish the game where you could watch all the cutscenes and it's a fully realized episode.
Okay, that's neat.
I think it's on YouTube too, where you can just watch not the playthrough, but you can watch the cutscenes, and it's supposed to be like one of their episodes they just never got to do because the show got canceled. Again.
Yeah, but it's back.
Yeah, I'm wondering what season are we even on, because it's always on for like 2 or 3 years, gets canceled. 2 or 3 years, canceled.
It's season 11, I think.
Okay, isn't that weird? Like, fucking Family Guy is way worse than Futurama, and yet you got like 40 seasons of that goddamn show, and only got canceled once. And Futurama is just like, whatever, it just keeps chugging along, surviving somehow.
It has a better fan base.
Yeah, well, and it's better than Simpsons, because Simpsons, I think sometimes, I feel like that show needs to take a break and go away for a while for us to miss it.
Yeah, although I will say, the last few seasons have been pretty good.
Okay. I just remember after the movie, it got pretty weak, which is ironic, because the movie is like the best part, I think, in years. And then when they did the Futurama movies, I didn't think those worked at all, because I just don't think it's designed to be like that.
No, they're just really long episodes.
Yeah. Godzilla Save the Earth. Fuck yeah! Like the best of those kind of fighters. God damn it, I love this game.
There are quite a few of those that were really good. I think there's one that's just War of Monsters or something like that as well. That was really fun.
Yeah, this one I think is all set in the city, and have they still never combined Gamera with Godzilla in a game? This never happened, right?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I'd sell my soul for that. A Western shooter, Gun, which is, I think, kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I think that was better than Red Dead Revolver.
Which is the first one?
Red Dead Revolver came out first.
Okay.
Gun came out after it. But Red Dead Revolver became the Red Dead Redemption series, and those are far better.
Yeah. All right, Jax 3, I think of the best of the series. Just better playability, more accessibility, whatever, and more stuff to play with.
Yeah, I concur.
Katamari Damacy. The game where you
I
roll,
have this one.
yeah, where you roll something around, trying to get it to a certain size in a very short time limit, so you don't disappoint your father. And when you do, Jesus, it's heartbreaking.
Oh, come on. He's disappointed even if you do a good job.
It's just like, yeah, fuck off. Okay, you're not my son. You're not good enough. It's so like lame. One of the few games my sister would play a lot.
Yeah, even the sequel was really good, and they've made a few other ones after it, but it was just really kind of that it only really seemed to work for a very short time. The more you did it, the less fun they kind of become.
Yeah, apparently they made a sequel, but nobody liked it. So,
well, I liked it. We Love Katamari. It was fun.
okay. Lego Star Wars. Is this the first of the games?
Lego Star Wars, yeah, it is definitely at least the first of the games that were licensed.
Yeah, it's funny. I do not like the prequel series, but I love the game. The game's just a lot of fun. It really has high playability. I played like the next one, which adapted the original trilogy, and then I played Harry Potter and Indiana Jones, and it's really well designed and unique, and breaking stuff apart and rebuilding I think is a lot of fun.
They're the Marvel ones and the Batman ones are really good too.
Okay. Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. Speaking of sequels that sucked ass and nobody liked, the sequel to this is fucking garbage. But this one is really challenging. I mean, really challenging because it's all like time based. And boy, if you fuck up one thing, like you got to go back, grab the car, to grab the rocket launcher, before you get to the place or whatever, then it's all screwed up. But I just a lot of fun, unique playability.
This is a blast. Puns. It's a great game. It really is.
Prince of Persia, rewriting how it's done, taking a known franchise and saying, "Hey, let's do this in a different way." Was this influenced by God of War? I feel like it came out after God of War, and it took some stuff from that.
I think so.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to remember release order, but yeah, I think so.
And this was a fighter more than it was just like a platformer, and it gave you the ability to go back like 10, 15 seconds to fix mistakes that you had.
Yeah, which was fun. I will say, later games definitely just kind of became far too easy because that was the crutch that they just hung everything on.
Yeah.
Oh, you died? Oh, well, reverse. There you go.
Psychonauts is my next one. Now, I'm trying to remember who created Psychonauts, because it was...
Psychonauts is, what's his name from, Tim Schafer.
Thank you.
Not Tim Schafer, Tim Schafer. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember they talked about this. This was going to be a big deal. They thought this was going to be a huge franchise and not, beyond just video games. And it sold okay, but boy, that just kind of faded away from the memory. No one really talks about this.
I worked at GameStop when, during this whole time.
Okay.
But when this game came out, I remember the marketing on it, and it was so fucking terrible.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
They did not sell this in any way that made it look appealing at all.
Yeah.
The only reason I ended up picking this game up was there was a lot of word of mouth years after. There's like, dude, this game's really good. And it's like, crap, this game is good. Why the hell did they not sell this?
Yeah, I just don't think it's so unique that I don't think they knew how to sell it, especially in the day and age where everything was either extreme sports or shooters.
Yeah, well, part of it's like they kind of should have leaned into the weird Tim Burton-esque-ness of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then my last game is the original Ratchet and Clank. I know there's been lots of sequels, but I just really don't think they got it better than that original game.
Yeah, I have the remade version that came out on the PS4.
Okay.
It's fun. It's a fun little one.
All right, what is your list?
All right, it's gonna be a bunch of games you've never heard of.
All right, cool.
First one.
Wait, let me ask you, what was your primary game system?
PS2.
Okay.
But I did own all the consoles of this generation.
Oh, really? Wow, okay.
It's at one point or another, I had one of each. And a few times, like in Xbox, I had a couple of times, actually. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3. Series is part school. I think we were talking about like the games that system, the games that you had never played through current. I think I had 5 on that list.
Okay.
But yeah, part 3. It's these games are part school simulation, part dating sim, part psychological horror. In the case of this one, you have these students who are exploring this hidden hour between, the moments of like the clock striking midnight and striking 01. And I kind of like the aspect that during the day you're allowed to go and you do your school stuff. You're, engaging with people. You're building these social links that allow you to create or get access to bigger and better creatures that you can use to fight in these dungeons. And then at night you go and you do the grind. Now the second one on my list is the next one of that franchise, Persona 4, which technically does have a better story and a little more interesting stuff that's happening over there because it's involving these characters in this one are getting involved in a serial killer who's basically striking this small rural town, and effectively this guy's kidnapping people and throwing them into this alternate reality that people kind of can see a little bit of glimpse of by watching TV at midnight during a rainstorm. It's like this little rumored thing, and all of a sudden you'll see these people's hidden desires come to life on screen, and you end up having to go into these worlds and fight these people, basically fight their desires and basically kind of free their I can't think of the psychological term right now. It's late. But yeah, basically it's a psychosexual drama with a cute bear mascot.
Okay.
Who says bear puns.
Weird.
It's both of these games are amazing. They have remakes. Well, actually, there is a full-on remake that's coming out soon for Part 3, and there were portable versions that came out that are available currently on consoles, and it's definitely they're all both worth playing. My next one, GTA Vice City.
Okay, I never played any of the Grand Theft Autos.
Well, it's like, of the 3 that came out around this time, this is my favorite. It is the 80s setting, gives you all the best music, the best... Actually, yeah, shit. Every single radio station that you can listen to is amazing because they license so much great music. It's funny. It's got a very Miami Vice like storyline to it, and it just basically expanded when GTA 3 came out and kind of blew apart what that franchise was. This one really took it and ran with it in a more cohesive manner.
Yeah, this is kind of the peak of the sandbox, right? Or is it the next one that's kind of like the biggest, like, attention getter and breaking all the rules of what a game could be?
Well, the next one of these ones is later on my list, but I'll go with it. San Andreas is a huge game. Like they give you the best sandbox to play in. The problem is I'm a person who really loves story, and whereas, like I said, this is Vice City is very Miami Vice. You're drug, trying and Scarface inspired.
Uh-huh.
San Andreas is more like, or at least it starts off like Menace to Society or Boys in the Hood or something.
Okay.
But then, as the game goes along, you end up going to Vegas and you get involved in a casino heist, or you break into Area 51 and steal a jetpack. It's like, it just kind of... There's a grounded game there that then they just say, fuck it, and just go all out insane at moments, and it never feels connected,
okay,
in any really way. Which is kind of a shame because it should have, well, it was the best fucking selling one of all those, and it's still the most beloved one. But yeah, it's like I can't like that one more than Vice City, but that's predominantly because Vice City story hangs together better. Okay, next one is Silent Hill 2. Another psychosexual horror game.
Is there a bear involved?
No,
Darn.
no bears. But, well, your main character does receive a letter from his dead wife telling him to go to Silent Hill, and shit goes wrong. And this is where the character Pyramid Head is introduced, that has kind of become the mascot of the franchise.
Okay, now I know what the fuck that is. I've heard the name, I saw the picture, but I didn't know what it belonged to, and now I know. And knowing's half the battle.
Yes, it is as much as dark and twisted as the first one is, this one hits you really hard, especially once everything comes to light and you're kind of figuring out effectively what the story is. You kind of like, whoa, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, hell, there's even a whole bunch of endings in this one where it's like here's how kind of messed up this game can get. Sure, you have a ending where your character can leave the town, or he commits suicide, or he takes the body of his dead wife out into the lake and he's going to resurrect her, or he discovers that a dog is controlling everything.
What?
In a little Shih-Tzu Ibu controlling in a little control room. And there's also, like in the first game, there's an alien ending. They're weird games. Let's see. Next up, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
Definitely one of the best Star Wars games ever. It's set before all the other movies, so continuity be damned. Although apparently a lot of that stuff became part of canon.
They can never really make up their mind what does and what doesn't, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? It's fine. The game, I don't care about Star Wars canon anyway. So, shit. You know what? I like the idea that my amnesiac Jedi could either be a good guy or a bad guy, and it doesn't matter. Let's see. My next one, Burnout Revenge.
I don't remember this one.
Oh, the Burnout franchise is great. I came to know it, I think, from 2, because a friend got so wrapped up in the fact that one of the modes in it is you basically hurl your car into traffic to try and create the biggest collisions that you can.
Oh my god!
And that became a big part of this thing. The third game, which almost made my list, added one where it's not only are you racing, but it's kind of a destruction derby race, where you can smash your opponents into things and take them down. Revenge took that and also added you now can create rivals.
Oh, interesting.
You knock someone out, they're going to come after you. And not only that, instead of now just hurling yourself into traffic, there's now modes where you can actually use traffic like a weapon. So you're actually driving through it, so you're actually trying to hit traffic into other traffic to create collisions and stuff, but building up an even larger thing before you yourself crash. The people who own Need for Speed got a hold of Criterion, the guys who made this game.
Okay.
And are now having them make all the shitty Need for Speed games that are out now. Instead of doing this, they're not making these anymore. It's terrible. My next game was Psychonauts. We talked about it. It's wonderful, and the sequel is okay. Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, god damn it, I knew I forgot something.
Yeah, this game that is... It's a work of art. Let's just say that. It's a puzzle game. You have to go and figure out how to kill these 16 giant colossi so you can resurrect your girl, except everything that you do seems to be the worst thing ever. It is... Yeah.
Okay, so think about how you would play and strategize in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Same fucking rules. I know it sounds weird, but in my head, that's how it is. You look for the weak spots. You wait for the patterns.
Yeah, and that's 100% a big part of this is figure out the patterns in order to work your way to the creature's next spot.
Yeah.
And even so, like the last Colossus is a tower that you have to climb.
I actually didn't know that. I never finished the game. Huh.
Yeah, that one's such a pain in the ass. God of War 2. Again, of those original ones, I think God of War 2 is the best. Yes, Kratos is angry, yelly man, and that's his
It's very
entire
new metal. It's new metal the game, but it has great fighting. It just the way it's designed is just really fun to play.
Yeah, the combat is a lot of fun. This one genuinely has a compelling story to it. Like the first one's a interesting revenge tale, but this one kind of gives you twists and turns, and there's interesting stuff, and you're seeing all these different, like even more so interesting Greek mythological characters and stuff, and it does set its stage for the next one really interestingly, but unfortunately that franchise just kind of is boring at the same time. Great combat, great, a lot of fun, but damn is Kratos in those games not that interesting a character. Let's see, next one is Disgaea, Hour of Darkness.
I don't know that one.
It's a tactical RPG. You're the son of the Demon King who wakes up to find your dad's dead, and now everyone else is now gunning for you.
Huh. But
it's goofy anime stuff, basically. And this franchise is designed for those who like to grind. Like, you not only have all these stages that you can do, you can actually jump into items themselves and go through 100-stage dungeons.
Wow.
It is built on, you want to see the numbers get big. So you can do huge combos that give you huge numbers, and you just get that endorphin rush of them. It's crazy. Plus, they do have a little mascot character called a Pretty, which are penguin-looking people who are basically like the dumb, like the worst sinners. Not like the worst sins. Just they're the shittiest sinners that are now stuck in these little exploding penguin bodies.
That's insane.
And they're just, they're totally worthless and they're awesome at the same time. The next one is Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay.
I would love to play this game one day. I love the franchise. I love all the movies, but I never played it.
It is really, really good. It's something that's kind of rare because you don't get too many first-person shooters that are really, really emphasizing stealth. It's like, before this, I think Thief was the only other one, really.
Okay, yeah, I remember that game. The ambitions that Riddick and Vin Diesel and David Twohy had for this franchise got killed immediately because Chronicles of Riddick just didn't happen for people. And I always liked it. I think there's a few silly moments, but it's their version of Dune, and I think it's slowly been rediscovered. What do you think of the second one?
I don't like it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it because it feels so different from that first film. And I mean, like, the world itself. Like, the way the first film feels, we have a few colonies out there that we are, sending people to. New Mecca feels like it's not necessarily a huge realized world. It's more of, these people in this spaceship in pitch black are, on a wagon on the Oregon Trail or something. Whereas, then you get into this and it's fucking Star Trek.
Yeah.
There's alien of all types, and it's like, What?
Yeah, we just discussed Pitch Black on the show, and not you and I, but someone else. And he felt it was a betrayal of his character. Like he was being forced. They forced Riddick to now be a hero, whereas the first one, he's not a hero whatsoever. It's just circumstantial that he does the right thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, they do that little animated film that bridges the two stories. I think does a decent job of kind of setting that up.
Right, and so does this game take place between the first and second movies, or is it before the first?
It's a prequel. It's a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Black.
Okay.
Because it's basically he's escaping from Butcher Bay, which is the thing that gets John to go after him.
Okay.
And thus gets him in onto the ship in Pitch Black.
And there's sequels to this game, right? Or at least one?
No, this was a one-off.
Really? I could have swore there was a sequel to this game, but okay. Which is weird because this was a big seller and was critically acclaimed. You think they would have done another one?
Yeah, well, I think it did very well, but I think ambitions, like with the Chronicles of Riddick movie, I think just kind of everyone loved the game, but that was about it.
Okay, interesting. Well, also you're talking a $25 million movie that only made 40 and did very well on video, and then they made the next one for $100 million. I mean, what did they really expect was going to happen?
Yeah.
No, there is. The Assault on Dark Athena was released before the next Riddick movie in 2009.
Okay.
Atari did it. Wow. But it was mostly no. It is on every game system. Okay. Interesting. What is your? I'm sorry. That it really dragged that one out. What's your next game?
Yeah. Next one is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem.
I don't know that one either. Wow, you're really throwing some odd ones out at me.
This was very well liked, but again, it's a game that didn't sell that well.
Okay.
It's kind of a Lovecraftian style kind of Resident Evil clone.
Oh, all right.
The neatest thing about this though is you have a game. The game has a thing called Sanity Meter. And as you're dealing with crazier and crazier creatures and stuff, your sanity gauge goes up, and soon, if it hits the top, shit gets weird.
Okay.
Like okay, sure, yeah. The cameras will get funky angles, or the walls will start to bleed, or the game will pretend that it's lowering the volume on your TV set, or that it's going to delete your save files. You know, it basically will. It's designed to start trolling you as you start going insane. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a shame. They were attempting to make like a spiritual sequel to this a few years back, like through like Kickstarter or something, and just it didn't get the money it needed or something.
Okay.
Let's see. My next one is Canterbury Damacy.
Yeah.
Again, so much fun. Love that one. Luminous.
Another one. Nope.
That was on PSP. It also did get actually, it got released on almost everything at some point. You could actually get off Steam right now. It's like Tetris or Puyo Puyo. Basically, you're creating these... but this is also a music-based game.
Interesting.
Where, as you create these little blocks... to get cleared off, like there's a little bar that runs from left to right of the screen. So every time you match four, match four of the same color or pattern on the stage that you're on, it'll clear it off, but it'll also add sound to it. So you're kind of building the song as you play. Oh,
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never seen anything like that.
It is a blast. It also gets really hard as you go along because, like Tetris, you're not clearing everything. You're just, all the stuff that you're clearing off, whatever you don't clear remains. So as the stage as you keep going on and on, all this stuff is just building up on you, and if you can't clear it, you're hosed. But yeah, it's got some really nice music. It's a fun time. Let's see, Jet Set Radio. Did you ever play that?
I'm trying to remember, is that the skateboarding game or the rollerblading game or something?
The rollerblading game, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cell shaded game where you're in this dystopian future Japan where skate gangs are, you know, trying to fight over the street and do dope graffiti and fight a bad guy who's going to use the power of an evil record in his contract.
Yeah, it's a really a big cult following around this game, but I never got to play it.
It's fun, but it's also, in trying to play this game not that long ago, the tutorial stage is so fucking hard. How the hell did I beat this game? I genuinely don't know. But okay, next one is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. As I mentioned, it's a really good game. It's a fun sandbox. It's just the story isn't there.
Oh, okay.
You know, but it's still relatively high on my list, all things considered. Halo. I'm not 100% in love with this franchise, but this first game is fun.
Yeah, it is. I think I've only ever played that, and then some weird spin-off later down the road.
It's Reach, I think, is a really good one.
Yes, that's one I played.
But it's like, it's another game where the main character is boring as fuck. Master Chief is not interesting. I am a soldier man. I do things.
Yeah, I think they did a good job in the TV show, though, making him interesting, what they could with the franchise.
Yeah, but it's one of these games since Doom to have games that were, competing it where they're trying to be called Halo clones or Halo killers.
Yeah, the Halo killer. I remember that.
Yeah, plus the fact that it also 100% saved the Xbox. Because if they did not have this game, we would not have anything of the Xbox.
I really don't think so.
See, Guitar Hero 2. I could have picked either one, the first or the second, but these are the ones that started my love for playing with stupid plastic guitar controllers. I just think this one has a little bit better soundtrack because, it's kind of like Sweet Child of Mine, or covers of, let's be honest, Sweet Child of Mine, Crazy on You, Institutionalized, Them Bones, a lot better soundtrack for you to goof around with. Let's see, I had Animal Crossing.
I never played it, but I know it's legendary.
It's another game where if you actually think about the concept, it's a really fucked up story because you're kidnapped and then forced into indentured servitude into the devil himself, Tom Nook.
Jesus.
Every time you pay off your debt to this guy, he adds more debt to you by adding on to your house or something. You don't ask for it, he just does it, and then you owe more money.
Wow, okay. That's bizarre.
But it's a cute game, and you do all these fun things, and there's goofy animal people, and it's so pleasant until you start to think about it, and then you go, wow. Because if I remember right, this first game, it's like you're waking up on a bus, and the bus driver is a kappa, which is a Japanese folklore creature that kidnaps children. But if you don't know that, yeah, you're just on a bus with this weird frog dude driving you to your new town that you're going to be in. But my last one is Phantasy Star Online.
Okay.
100% ahead of its time. It was the first online console RPG, and if you could actually find people to play with, it was a hell of a time. It did have an offline mode, but the game doesn't really have much of a story. It's such a fun novelty concept at the time, and it kept the Phantasy Star brand alive, sort of.
What didn't make your list, but almost?
Okay, the one that just about made my list and was on it, but then Leisure Suit Larry to come out. This game is actually better than it really has any right to be. I mean, sure, let's be honest. It's fairly misogynistic, and it's a dirty, dirty, dirty sex game. But it's also really fucking funny. I mean, they have moments that you genuinely, it's like, that's actually clever. It's not the man. Yeah, this is not the Man game or the Playboy Mansion Sims game.
Jesus, I remember that.
They actually did try to make something worth playing. Let's see. Lifeline is a game that, okay, it's not that great, but you are... If the limitations for the PS2 weren't there, I think this might have actually been something. You are a guy who's trapped in this Space Hotel's console room, and you have to guide this woman, Rio, through this monster-infested place. And your only thing you can do is give this person commands through a microphone. So you're not playing the game. You're ordering a person on screen to do stuff.
That's really weird.
And it had a shit ton of commands. There's a lot of stuff it could do. The problem is the vocal stuff just wasn't there. So if the technology was there, I think this could have been something. Let's see, Fantavision. I had Frequency.
God, I never heard of any of these.
Eco. Let's see, SSX Tricky.
Okay, yeah, that was on mine.
Power Stone. Ready to Rumble Boxing, Space Channel 5, and Rez.
And Ready to Rumble Boxing is the only one that I ever played on the Dreamcast. It's a lot of fun. I mentioned Rogue Agent and Nightfire earlier. Those almost made the list, but I had to pick one Bond. The first Sly Cooper is really great. SSX and Beautiful Joe. Oh,
yeah.
Torn on it because it's so goddamn hard.
I actually kind of prefer that studio's other game, Okami.
Oh, that was great. I remember that game. Yeah.
But yeah, the Clover Studios made beautiful games. They really did.
All right, so that is the end of this episode, and we have one more to go, kiddies, and we will be done for the season. Thank you, John, for another great episode.
Thank you
and
for having me.
I owe you money anyway, so why not? No. Everybody have a good one.
See ya.